Previously on Unlock the Key.
I'm part and parcel with God. You have to listen to women. Women know. When it get to the mind with the woman, it get jumbled. Remember, this is the storage of thoughts, creativity and things like that, logic and things like that. Because of emotion and ego, it get disorganized and jumbled around. Sometimes a woman can be oversensitive or over emotional. Sometimes a woman can be oversensitive or over emotional because of the unwholeness of the mind. If you get a matured, whole-minded woman spiritually, she already got the cheat code, because the spirit is already so potent. The connection is so potent to God already. And you get a woman who can have the right amount of logic and the right amount of creativity, color, and chaos. Dog, you got, you know what I'm saying, you got a
gold mine, huh?
You got beyond a gold mine. Like, what's more valuable than gold? Like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? You got real. The galaxy.
And that's, you know, as women, that's something really powerful to identify with. And I speak from my experience. For me, like, my girls, they'll come to me for advice. Offer it. I can put myself in their shoes. And I'm never taking the man, you know, if it's a boyfriend relationship situation. Not that I always take the man's side, but I always try to see all angles of the situation. And it's more on a logical stance than an emotional stance. And it's funny because when we get into our own situations, it's like it's like the logic sometimes it just go out the window and the emotions just kind of take over. But it's funny you said it, because as I get older, I take a step back and say, okay, what's the logical thought process? What's the more reasonable, you know, what makes more sense versus what you really feel? You know what I'm saying? Like, what truly...
What your ego's telling you.
You know...
There's nothing wrong with feelings either.
Right. But, you know what I'm saying? But having to really make that decision and to separate the two. As you get older, I feel like, and I wouldn't even say age, I always like to say experience, because it takes a lot of experience to, you know, to understand and to identify, like, okay, you was being real emotional right there. You wasn't really thinking, you know what I'm saying? But learning into new situations how to be more logical.
More logic. Logic is big.
And women, we don't like to be told, oh, you being emotional. Like, that's emotional. But at the end of the day, we do a lot of things off of emotion. We don't do enough on logic.
That's the sad thing about it. So, which hopefully I can, and you guys, lovely goddesses, can start to push that narrative amongst women. Logic. Come with the logic. You already got the emotion and the creativity and the nurturing and free flowing aspect. But if you get the logic down pat and you stand on that square, y'all unstoppable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have businesses with women. My lawyer is a woman. My manager is a woman. I know. I'm no fool. You know what I mean? And these women have a good sense of logic. You know. Y'all be, you know, I can't even really tell you what you can do, because I'm not a woman, but you know, y'all can.
We know.
Move
know what we have to do. Women always know, that is for certain. But it's like a mix to it when you select the mind and, you know, getting all, you know, jammed up. But you
gotta stand on your square.
And that's when, and I feel like, and again, I just feel like that comes with experience.
It almost seems impossible to stand on your square.
I mean, I guess it depends. I mean, it does at times. I ain't gonna sit here and hold you up and act like it don't. Yeah. Because it do. I'm like, no, not for me. No. Yeah. It's only so much you can say, but ultimately, it is up to us at the end of the day. And that's whether you male or female, it is up to you to decide what is best for you and what you should do next. And that's period at the end of the day. But I do feel like with women, it's more of a pull, and it's just like, we got to stop that. We really do. Yeah. But, you know.
So it's a lot of factors contributing to a woman feeling like she has to, because that over emotional reactions are that's a lashing out. You know what I mean? Because a woman feel like, was afraid. You know, I had to tell the spirit put this on me. I had to tell my mom, I apologize. I didn't really apologize to her, but I told her that I feel her perspective, because she's a woman. You know, she's unmarried, and she looks at the world differently to me. You know, so sometimes I'll be like, "Mom, why you sound so afraid?" She, "No, I'm just trying to be cautious," and I'm like, "Well, I ain't scared of that." But I gotta respect her perspective. She's a woman, you know, and life looks differently to her. You know, like she's smaller than me, for one. You know, just physically. You know, she thinking like, shit, if somebody wanted to X, Y, and Z, or if somebody wanted to do something legal to, you know, sue me or something, then they probably have more strength, you know, to do something against me, and that causes you to be paranoid, or be not paranoid, but just be afraid. You know, so I had to tell her, "Mom, you know, I feel you. I understand it's different for you, and I'm gonna respect that. I understand why you may feel, you know, you know how moms are. They like, be careful then."
Oh yeah.
And I'll be like, yo, like, stop sweating me. Like, I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you know, they you know, women look at the world differently because it's set up a little different for you, and it's unfortunate there aren't men in place to protect. See, the men are supposed to protect and provide and protect. You know what I'm saying? But you got women that are doing that for themselves, which is fucking scary as hell. You know, men, we don't feel that sometimes. See, we lack respect. You have to respect that woman's point of view. She's lashing out and saying these type of things, or getting over emotional because she's afraid, and she has the right to be, because she has nobody to provide and protect. I see the difference from a young lady who has a father in her life and who doesn't. One is way more calmer than the other, or a brother, you know, whatever the the male presence is. One is way more calmer. The other one is like kind of anxious. You know, so you got to respect that. And when you run into a young lady like that, if you're a real man and a man of quality and high standard, you should make her feel secure.
What qualities do you feel like our men lack today?
Do they lack? That's one. They lack respect.
What is some other qualities?
Men are destructive and gauche.
Gauche?
Yeah, gauche is like big and like gauche means like, I'm paraphrasing, but like means like big and blocky, like taking up too much, you know, or being too like hard, you know.
Okay.
You know, it's a lot of instances men need to take a piece out of the woman's book and learn how to be more free flowing and less rigid with their thought. Men are kind of like rigid, you know. I'm like that all the time. I don't look at details sometimes. That's why I make sure I surround myself by good women who catch, oh no, Earl, look at this detail. You know, because the devil sometimes can be in the details. So that's one thing that I think men are lacking. Over sexualizing women. Just unnecessarily just being horny, only looking at a woman for, you know, face value. I've looked at a woman three-dimensionally and just got way more blessed. When I just look at a woman as a whole, as opposed to just the facade. You know. So I mean, men need to. They don't got to, because shit. They don't got to. More for me. More for me. They ain't got to. They ain't got to.
So yeah. This is the part when.
Shit, fuck it then. Since you want to be always with the, you know. All right. I'm telling you, for real.
But and I feel like too with that though, it goes hand in hand.
You got me saying too much.
That's what you come. You ain't come here. You said it to be locked up or unlocked. Which one? But no, I think too though, women has their responsibility too, is, you know, be a woman, take your stance too. You can't. That
is not the narrative right now.
Oh, it's not. It's so much in society. It's so much within just everyday environments and households, and it's a lot. And you know, it's a lot. It is definitely a lot.
I can't do that. Y'all gonna have to do that part.
Ain't nobody asking you to.
Hell yeah. Cause I'm gonna say no. Because it's just like, you know, I've seen like women in their 40s act like 18-year-olds, you know, and it's like you just have this unhealed little girl that you just been carrying around, and it's like we need you to grow up so bad right now and help out.
And you know what? I want to comment on that too, because I like my friends, you know, I always refer to my friends. We go through things, and you know, younger, and I always say to them, be glad you're experiencing this now. Be glad that, I know it hurts, and this isn't probably, you know, you got to say those things, it's not what you want to hear, but ultimately be happy that now at this point in your life is the time where you learned this specific lesson, because you don't want to look up 10, 20 years later and you repeating the same cycle because you didn't address what it was that you should have addressed years ago. And that takes accountability, and it takes a lot, because you have to look at yourself and say, you know what, I didn't heal from that situation, or I let this, you know, bypass and I never addressed it. So every time I come into the same similar situation, I handle it the same way. And we like to
you frustrate yourself.
And we like to blame the other person.
And then blame the other person.
But really, it's you. You didn't deal with that in the beginning.
And the person is not gonna ever, you know, tell you the real and say, you know, I understand why you're upset. They're never gonna do, because they hurt too. Because you're blaming them. This is something they call a vicious cycle. You know, so and
people and you know, I know people like to say, oh, because I was raised like this is the reason. I'm not gonna ever discredit how a person's, you know, traumas and stuff. However, I do feel like when it comes to a certain point in your life, you have that decision to say, am I gonna allow what has caused, you know, all this pain, or, you know, the things that I have been known to be true, am I gonna allow that to be a constant cycle in the whole definition of my life, or am I gonna change the narrative and say, I want better?
Right. This is something that we talked about earlier about, I mean, with my life, I try to show what the influence of God looked like in a physical form, right? Or the way I speak and things like that. You know, you got to try God. You really have to. A lot of people don't. That's why I'll be over it. I'll be over trying to see people typing about God, and let me see it. Let me see you say, I'm happy. Not commenting on Real Husbands of Atlanta.
Who?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Who on the show?
Just whomever. You know, basketball girlfriends.
Basketball husbands?
Yeah, you know,
the football, you know, cheerleaders.
Yeah, and things like that. I don't want to see you talking about that, or, you know, these hoes or people hating on me. Because and then you want to sit up there and talk about some, you know, some religion. You know, you ain't
there.
You ain't using it. You ain't using it. So now it got to be something else.
Yeah. Actually, just recently, over time, I've been clearing my timeline. It's just not something, if it's going to be negative, something that I just don't need to hear, don't need to see, you got to be removed. Ain't no point in me. What's the point of even try not to be on as much anyway?
But, to the point that you were talking about, being responsible and things like that, is because they really I'm really like editing all this shit that I really want to say.
We have to inspire and bring healing. So say what you got to. No, you don't sugarcoat nobody else. I think you don't sugarcoat nobody else.
I mean, people just need to try God. You know, have faith. Really, really Google faith, what it is, and then step out on faith. You know, try to forgive, try to heal, try to look at yourself in the mirror.
I feel like, so I have this question I want to ask you, and I feel like I already know the answer, but I want to ask anyway. Maybe you'll give me a different one. But how can a man's inner king be awakened? And when I say that, his most powerful self, the highest version of himself.
On a journey to find God, right? On a journey to find spirit, you can be your best. You, which would be your inner king, or whatever you want to call it. The extended version would be, because once you really find God, right, and see how God operates, and also where God is, then that unlocks that the real you, you know, comes out, which is your, you know, your highest self, or your king, inner king, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, and it's definitely it's an amazing piece.
It is.
Peace. That is.
It is, and confidence. Yeah, a lot of men are scared because they don't feel in control, really. So being that powerful, they sometimes they break things, whether with they physically or with their mind or with their, you know, mouth. You know, they break things because they are afraid that they're not in control.
So tell me, what are some principles that you live by?
So self-love, self-love, selflessness, power, confidence, happiness, fun, family, community, big on community, unity, treat my body right. It's a few principles that I never forget. You know,
I like that.
I have to practice that. I mean, I have to practice not forgetting those things, but after you know, repetition. Jinx.
You want me? Okay, whatever. You can have that. I did it after like it was gonna count.
I know, right? You ambitious. Good job.
Thank you.
You know, just things like that. Something that I live my life by, and I'm expanding those things in different areas, and just, you know, getting better.
I like that. So before we wrap up this interview, I always like to ask my guests, what do you want to be remembered by?
Myself, like me, or what you see as being Earl. That's a lot. That encompasses a lot.
I feel like
I ain't got no deep answer.
That's it?
Yeah, I come with a lot. I'm tactful. I move with tact. You know, tact is one of my favorite words. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I can sit in here and try to sound smart and shit like that, but fuck all that.
I want you guys to remember.
Because if y'all see me out and I'm not doing it, then what is that? Fuck that. You know what I'm saying, right?
No, absolutely.
Wouldn't you say that? Like, that nigga ain't on shit, for real.
This man is silly.
Ain't it a lot of that, though?
I mean, if you ain't doing it, I guess,
Yeah, niggas talk a lot, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
I ain't trying to hear none of that. I don't be trying to hear none of that. For real.
I like that.
If you're not trying to, or like the rappers that are, you know, flashing money, or doing certain antics online and things like that, and I ain't see you talk about property, credit scores, passive income. If you have a pregnant stomach, I'm not understanding you, and you're a male. I'm not understanding you the shit. How?
This man said a pregnant stomach and you a male.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm saying the way you.
And then you know they praising the baller belly. No, that look like
Thick not in no more.
For women it is, but baller belly to me look like you can't get it up. You can't do 20 push-ups. That's the issue. You know, and women need to understand that too. Like if you know, that's it. Look, a healthy body is a reflection of the spirit.
Yep. You know.
Period. It's as above, so below. So if your body is poor, then you probably poor in spirit, and you don't have an understanding of spirit, and your mind is probably gone, right? So you scroll my gram, you getting packs. I'm dropping the top. I take the shirt off.
Thirst trapping out on the Instagram.
Yeah, but that's reflective. But also when you have a conversation with me, I'm articulate and I know what the fuck I'm saying too.
We gonna do a lot of bleeping.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm playing. I'm playing.
You're gonna play this at church.
You know, my pastor may want to see.
Oh,
he want to know what I've been working on.
Oh, heck, you know.
I'm playing.
Why don't you see this one, Pastor? Bleep, 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 bleep,
He has a lot to say.
Yeah.
Do you know the scripture?
Right. Shout out to Joe Robinson with the We Run Through, and Lance with the We Run 313. You know, they are getting people bodies in shape. People are really having true success and change from running and fitness. You know, it's changing their mind
Yeah.
I talked to a few of the people, members, and they were telling me how it just helped with the mind and helped them with their confidence. You know, they shedding the weight and they feeling better. They can breathe. You know, the asthma not bothering them and things like that. You know, that's beautiful.
It is. That's huge too.
That's an impact.
Man.
That's not nobody sitting up there talking. They out there and they doing and they getting results. And they getting the best and the most out of life.
Absolutely. Whatever you consuming, whether that's mentally or physically, that's what you become.
That's what you become.
So yeah, absolutely. So I need to know too, what are some new projects you're working on?
Well, I'm working on, I do music.
Yeah, right. This is the artist right here, y'all. Did we say that?
Yeah.
Grammy-nominated songwriter. How many times did we practice?
Yeah. Master.
Collaborator. That was a test. How you had to do that?
Yeah,
you said I had to take my time with all 5 syllables.
Yeah.
So what are we working on?
I'm working on a new project, so I can actually sing. People may or may not know, so I'm doing a whole singing EP.
A whole singing EP?
Yeah.
Oh.
So about like 5 or 6 songs called He Crazy.
Are you like a David Ruffin, like a Eddie? I don't know Eddie's last name. You know Eddie Earls? Eddie Kendricks? Okay. Yeah. Which one are you?
I'm David Ruffin, but then Eddie.
Ain't nobody come to see
you. Yeah, that's me. But then I'm smooth like Eddie too. Eddie was a falsetto though, but if you're talking technically, but no, I'm just really myself. Just really, I'm getting like into my feelings, getting into my emotion with this singing. That's what I'm on. So yeah, and I'm excited about it. I haven't done it before. I haven't released like a whole singing project before. This is my first one, and I'm like not gonna stop. I love it.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I love it. Really like show like my skill set with my artistry, just because I've grown so much. You know, I have so much to like show, and I've been holding myself back. Fear, distraction. And I'm just so ready to just show how undistracted and fearless I am now. So.
Come on, I like that. Yeah. Come on, yes. I was just a little music or something. Yeah, all of that. Do your own thing. You know, crowd goes wild. No.
So I got that going. I got an EP with my bros, Dusty McFly and Super Kane, called Heavy Talking. Yep. So we got like, I think that's like a 3 or 4 song. Oh no, so like a 4-song EP. So that's coming out this year too. Videos out on both of those, on Interview and Heavy Talking. I dropped a still grinding. Yeah. Too. It's like a ghetto tech type of like house. I'm just getting back into it. I'm just feeling good. I'm just feeling really good. It's like a fresh start, but not really. So I'm really getting the best of both worlds, right? Because people are calling me like a legend around the city. I don't know if you heard, but then also at the same time, it's like, funny. I'm like 31, so it's like being 21 again. And then I still look good,
Hello.
Yeah, and I just feel good,
Said I'm cute.
Yeah, cute for sure.
That is so wonderful. I'm excited for this whole new wave. This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Singing, no one has heard you sing. I haven't heard you. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's cold. You should play it.
I will, absolutely.
Listen to it. Yes. We'll probably come back and talk about it again.
Absolutely.
If you like. I
will actually like that.
Tight.
We can probably go off my questions next time.
Damn, yeah, say them.
I'm playing. This was great. It's funny how God reminds you, or you just get reminded to have that faith and to rely, because coming up with the questions, I always have to tell myself, you want to dig into as much as you can, but ultimately you can't speak, or you can't, not necessarily that you can't even control the situation, but you have to allow the situation to control itself almost in a way.
That's great. I call it not to micromanage God. You cannot micromanage God.
I write and I say, okay, I hear you. It's like we got a good relationship. We just like, okay, like, all right. So people like, stop worrying. Just
you get so disappointed in like so many roadblocks when you try to micromanage the details of God.
Absolutely.
You gotta let God get the details. You just show up.
And absolutely, it's just a constant reminder. Yeah. But the repetition is gonna kick in, and you're gonna. I'm going to.
Yeah.
I like that.
Practice. That's practicing faith.
Yeah.
That's what faith looks like.
Absolutely. So I want to thank you so much for joining me, for unlocking your story with me. Yeah,
For
you're
sure.
welcome. For sure. Anytime. Can you give the viewers your social media or any contact information?
I am Earlly Mac on Twitter and Instagram, EARLLYMAC.
And I want to thank you all for staying locked into another episode of Unlocked with Keys. Thank you.
Collaborator.